Hey everyone. Um Trying to get some better light here. Okay, better light. I just wanted to hop on here and say thank you all so much for um getting me to this point. Really, people who've been listening to me forever or listening to me recently. Um, I'm just can't believe that I have an album out at 40 years old, my first record label release. Yes, these are the seats from the van. It's DIY life over here. First record label release, and I am I'm so proud of this album. I'm so thankful for this album, and I'm really interested to hear what you think about the album. Um, and if you've been listening, and you can, yeah. Hey Avis, hey girl. You can also chat me any questions or anything. So I wrote this album over like 2-3 years, and the album is really just what I was going through in the past 2 years. It has a lot of relationship stuff on it because I was dealing with a breakup during the time. um and I was also doing a lot of reflection about myself and how I am in relationships, and some past traumas that might be impacting me, and doing reflections on whether I was ever going to make it, right? Whether this music was ever going to take off. So I had no clue that the time my album dropped, I'd have all of this support from you, from YouTube, from Spotify. Like, none of this was in my plans. I just thought I would drop an album and my people in Rochester would come out and buy it, and that would be the end of it. But I did not think there would be billboards and all of these things. So I'm really like experience things that are beyond my imagination. I just wanted to be, an artist who could pay her mortgage at the same time. I did not think I'd be on TV. Tomorrow we have a national TV broadcast with CBS. Um, but yeah, let's go through some of the songs that y'all haven't heard. And yeah, I can just talk to you a little bit about those songs. The one of the songs that are new is Someone Like You. And I'd say that one is like the one that gets the most feedback at an audience. If you haven't heard it, it goes like this. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to hear it, but yeah, Someone Like You is probably the one that people talk the most about. You can hear it. Yes, this song, I love it so much. This was really brought to life by a producer, Spencer Stewart. I took like the foundation of the song and he just really created a beautiful landscape. Um, and I wrote this song. It's just that moment where you feel like you're in dead in relationships. You're not finding the partner that you want. And you're just like, what is it in the world? 9 times out of 10, it may be you. But what is it in the world that's not allowing things to come together for me? Why am I struggling to find my person, my partner? And as you get older, it just seems more and more difficult. So I wanted to write a song that really um, uh, articulated that emotion and had this sense of desperation and longing in it. And I think a lot of people can relate to that song because a lot of people are single, and being single in 2022 is rough out here in these streets. So I hope you like Someone Like You. I think that's one of my favorites, maybe. And, I'm hoping that people listen to it and tell your friends about it. Thoughts, another new one on the album. I mean, Thoughts was really. when I had left my job, this was about 2019, and I'm like, okay, I left my job, my music should be blowing up, and it wasn't. It was just like going very slow. And I wrote thoughts with this feeling of what the F, like, why did I leave my job? I'm not really seeing much progress in my music. I'm living with my boyfriend. I don't really have any money. Like, what what is happening here? And then I'd look at other people online and I'd be like, oh my God, this person's doing so well. This person just signed a record deal. Why is it not happening for me? And I was doing so much promotion and just trying to like doing covers and trying to get my name out there. And so thoughts I wrote just to like, you know, to talk about those feelings that most artists have, that you know you're gonna die with your talent and nothing else. No one will ever know. um and it's interesting to hear that song now because it has definitely, a lot has changed since I wrote that song a few years ago. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. I am looking at the chat. um and then we have Fray. Okay, Fray is probably my favorite song. I love Fray because Fray, I wish I had my guitar. It started just very simply me on the guitar, boom, 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 boom. And then it just it grows into this beautiful song. I brought that line to Avis and I'm like, where do we go with this song? And she laid these beautiful chords down where we go, darling. And I was like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Um, and then I went back and created that verse, and then Avis came back and created the chorus. And that's what's so great, like through this process and working with Avis, is that it's almost like we can just bounce things off of each other and we immediately get what we're trying to accomplish. And then lyrically, I also love Fray because if you look at on Spotify, it's pictures of me when I was young. Because Fray is really about, the traumas that I've had that have impacted the way I show up in relationships, right? Okay, bag lady, you go miss your bus. Yeah, bringing all the bags into the relationship, and dealing with like abandonment issues, and how you first receive love, or how you don't, how you, or the lack of love impacts you, obviously, as an adult navigating the relationship world. So that's what Frey is about, and I think a lot of people out there can relate to it. Is what is showing up in your relationships that really isn't your partner's problem. It's a part of your own trauma that you have to heal. um okay. Wow, someone said biggest non-artist inspiration. That's a really, really great question. And I have a few. I would say, okay, Oprah. Because I love Oprah. My sister says I go to the church of Oprah. But I love like her persistence and hard work, even in the face of so many adversities. And I am very in line with her spiritual sensibilities. Her worldview on spirituality is very similar to mine. So I definitely would say Oprah. I also would say Malcolm X is one of my inspirations, because I just growing up, his autobiography is something that really changed my life. And his words, and I used to read his speeches, and it gave me so much pride. Like, he gave me a sense of pride in being Black. And I also think he was just an amazing intellectual. Um, and man, there's so many other people that, Stokely Carmichael, who was a leader during the Black Power movement, Angela Davis, many Black activists have shaped my thinking and my confidence as well. Um, Someone asked, "What's your favorite part of the process? Writing, recording, performing?" Child, performing, recording. Oof, half the time I don't even want to be like in the studio because recording is work. Recording is when you get the fine details in and everything has to, you want things to be perfect. To me, performing, there's such freedom in performing. And then there's you, right? And performing, you're in the room as well, and you give so much good energy. So I love that performing has this fluidity to it. When I get in the booth, I'm typically thinking. I'm thinking about the notes as they come out, and I'm trying to get better and better at bringing the stage into the booth with me. But there's an energy you get from the audience that's second to none, and that just impacts your performance. And there's the banter between you and the audience, and there's the things you don't usually do, and you change and you do. So just me personally, I love the freedom and fluidity that comes with performing. Um, who are some of the local musicians in the area that you follow, collaborate with? Man, I really love Chai the Realist. He is such an amazing rapper, and I hope he's next up. He's gonna do really great things. I love Rena Golden, who's a poet and an artist extraordinaire. I also think she's amazing. Charles Emmanuel, Cami Inaharo. Um, we just have some really awesome artists here. Would I collaborate with? Who do you wish to collaborate with in Rochester? Who would I collaborate with? Hmm. Maybe Joywave. I think a Danielle Ponder Joywave um, connection could be dope. I also think I would love to do a song with Cami. I just love her voice and I love her songwriting as well. So we got 2 more minutes before 12. And I just put a pizza in the oven before I came on live. So I'm also counting down that time. But I thank y'all so much for listening. I'm really excited about this album. And I hope you could just tell at least one more person, your uncle, your mama, your daddy, your friend. Um, it's been a long time coming. I've been performing for about 20 years. Okay. Maybe a little less than 20 years. And I am finally releasing my record label debut album after all this time. And I'm just going to put good energy out there that the album will do well, um, and that you will enjoy it and that it will in some way encourage, inspire, or heal anything that you might be going through. I look forward to seeing you all on the road. I have some shows that we're announcing. I'll be leaving Sunday to head to the West Coast of Marcus Montfort. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm about to go eat my pizza.